Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And what we're going to make is cake. But we're going to make an applesauce spice cake, which I think is easy, it's quick, and oh gosh, it tastes really good. You're going to be using a 13x9 pan, which I heavily greased and also dusted with flour. If you don't want to do that, then feel free to use your parchment paper, that type of thing, okay? And I want to tell you right off the bat, I'm sorry I no longer put the recipe below at the bottom of the video, and I'll explain that in a little bit. So if you want to, jot down as we go along, hopefully I'll go slowly enough, clearly enough that you can jot down how much you need of all the ingredients and maybe the mixing procedure and that kind of thing. So let's get started making this great tasting cake. We're going to first start off with butter, and you're going to need 1 stick of unsalted butter if you have it. If you don't have the unsalted butter, what you can do is I would probably cut the salt into half or leave it out entirely. Leave it at room temperature because it's easier to cream and break up and beat and all that. I cut it into small pieces because I think it's much quicker that way, especially for the video. And also you can do this recipe with a hand mixer if you prefer. I like the stand because it's much quicker for the video. So I'm going to turn on the mixer just to break up the butter, and cream it. And every time that I put the mixer on, I am going to try to give you a heads up because it can come off on the microphone kind of loud. So it'll prepare you to adjust, okay? So I'm going to turn this on and I'm going to cream the butter. Now that shouldn't take you very long. It's going to take you a little bit longer if you're using the hand mixer. Now once you have that creamed, then what you're going to need is granulated sugar. So put in 1 cup of granulated sugar with the 1 stick of butter. And again, turning on that mixer. Alright, the next thing we're going to be putting in is a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. And yes, it is pack the 1/2 cup. Pack it down. And we'll put that in. Now we'll really want to make sure that we're creaming and bringing the 2 sugars with the butter together. Adjust your sound just in case of the mixer. Now, spend whatever time that it takes. It might take 2 minutes, who knows? It might take 3. It really depends on your mixer, the speed, that type of thing. But bring it all together, cream it nicely till it's silky and velvety smooth. The next thing that you're going to add in is 4 eggs. And you'll want to also have them at room temperature and try to beat them in 1 at a time till 1 is pretty well blended in, beaten in, and then the second, and then so on and so forth. So let's put the first one in, and again the mixer is going on. And 2. And now 4. And again, stay with it, bring it all together, beat it well so that it looks as pale in color that you can get. I kind of get to the bottom of my mixing bowl and the sides where it tends to stick. Now I'm going to turn the mixer on just for another minute or so at a higher speed to blend this in so I can move it along. Okay, and I normally wouldn't use that high of a speed, but again, I'm just doing it for the time purpose. The next thing you're going to need, of course, to make it apple is your applesauce, and you need 1.5 cups. Now, if you prefer unsweetened, go ahead and use it. It really works fantastic if you don't want to use the sweetened applesauce, and just pour that all in there. Again, 1.5 cups of the regular applesauce that is sweetened, or go ahead and use the unsweetened. And then I'm going to just bring that all together, tell you about the sound. Okay, now once you've got that blended and beaten in really nice and smooth, let's work on our dry. You're going to start off with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. You're going to put a teaspoon of baking soda in, and then again when we talked about the salt, okay, if you're going to put salt in, you're going to put 3/4 of a cup of salt in. If you're using unsalted, as I am today. If you're using the salted butter, I would cut that in half, or you could eliminate it entirely. It's really up to you. But I'd be honest with you, I still would put at least half of that 3/4. But unsalted, go ahead, put that 3/4. It's really needed for this recipe. The next thing that you're going to be putting in is 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And then with my little whisk here, I'm just kind of stirring everything together. You don't have to be exact, just with a, with a fork or a spoon, whatever you got, just kind of combine it well. Now, the next thing that you're going to need is nutmeg. And you're going to be using a 1/2 teaspoon of the nutmeg. And this is quite optional. If you want to put in 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves, then feel free. But if some people might be like me, I really don't like cloves. I know it does add to a spice cake. It gives flavor to it and that type of thing. So what I do is, because I don't really like cloves, I don't put the 1/8 in. I actually put 1/8 of cinnamon extra, and in fact I had it in my little container there because I don't like cloves for whatever reason. And I know some people, please don't write to me and tell me how great cloves are, or how how we really need them maybe to have in our diet. I really don't know. I don't have that information. All I know is I don't like cloves, so I just add an extra of the 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon, or please go ahead, if you like cloves, add it. It will add quite a dimension to this cake. And I have tried both. I really have. And again, I liked both of them, but what I really liked is when I left it out. Okay, so now we're going to just take the dry with the wet, just till it's combined. We don't want to beat it up so that the batter becomes too tough or the cake becomes heavy and dense. Just till it's well blended, and a little at a time. Going to raise my speed just to bring it all together. once again, I really always got to check my sides and the bottom, because if I can see where I need to combine, of course, the mixture that's left on the sides of the bowl or what's sitting at the bottom, I turn it on just for a couple more seconds. Okay, and now I'm just going to try to take my paddle off of here, which I was having a little bit of difficulty with it yesterday. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to try to take a little of my excess off. You know, you hate to waste anything when you're baking. You're spending all this time and effort to bake. You don't want to waste any product. And now the price of ingredients and eggs, well, I don't have to tell you how expensive they've gotten, and so I don't like to waste. I don't like to waste any bit of product. All right, and now I'm just giving it a good last stir, checking that sides of the bowl, checking the bottom of the mixing bowl, and this is what the batter will look like. It has a great aroma, a great smell to it, and when you bake it, your kitchen will smell fantastic. Now you're going to bake this 13 by 9 at 350 degrees and preheated, of course. And now I'm just going to simply try to even it out, get it into the sides, level it off. Again, getting all that out so that I don't have waste. You can tap the pan if you prefer to make sure it's level, and perhaps to get rid of air bubbles if you prefer. And I'm just going to grab a little knife here just again to get that off my spatula. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to shimmy mine, give it a little shake. If you want to tap it, feel free. 350 preheated oven, and it could take you anywhere from 25 to 30 minutes to bake this up. Now, I want to show you what it looks like once it is baked up, but I'm going to just wash my hands very quickly because I'm working with raw eggs, and show you how nice this cake bakes up. What I did was I just wanted to leave half of it without anything on the top to show you, as well as then I cut some little bars, well, quite large bars, but you can cut them in half. In other words, instead of 4, you get 8 out of this. And then I just put on powdered sugar on top. This cake is so moist and so great tasting. It really doesn't even need an icing or a frosting or a glaze. Of course, you can put whatever flavored icing or frosting or glaze that you'd like to put on it. It tastes fantastic on its own, but I find with just the powdered sugar dusted on top, it's just the right amount of sweetness to pull off this cake. But again, feel free to top it with whatever you would like, okay? Now I'm going to get a knife and just cut into this, okay? And you will find that it's extremely moist. I don't know if you can see as I'm pushing down on the cake and how it's springing back. It's not real dense. It's not real heavy. It's more of a medium crumb to it. It will flake very easily, as you can, hopefully you can see if I've got the right shot there, of the crumb on it. And Oh, it is just delicious with a glass of cold milk or a cup of tea or coffee, that kind of thing. Like I said, whether you decide to put a frosting on it or not, or just as I did with powdered sugar, this cake is worth making. It really is. Well, I want to thank you for watching. I want to tell you that I'm sorry about writing the recipe down, and I'm not alone on this, that's for sure. But I got very frustrated because I always tell everyone, you know, you're kind enough to take the time out of your day to watch one of my videos. If you have a question or you have a comment or you like the recipe and you tried it, I really like to hear from you. Well, I started to see more and more of my work being posted, pinned, taken as other people's videos, and it was so upsetting to see that people write to me and I can't answer you. So in essence, it's just not worth it anymore to put down the recipe and do the work for it, to be honest. And I'm not alone on that, that's for sure. But if you watch me on YouTube, and that's the only place where I put my videos on, and you write, I'm going to get your question, I'm going to get your comment, and I will do my best to answer in a timely fashion. So I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.